Hello everybody, I am Brandman19 and welcome to episode number 5 of our Southline campaign in NIMBY Rails. So we've done Georgia pretty well. We run from Atlanta through Columbus down to Southwest Georgia. We run through Central Georgia to Macon and then another line to Savannah. And we also run through East Georgia pretty well. The only reason why we're not going to go northwest is because I think any line here in Atlanta should terminate in Chattanooga, or at least should just make it there. I don't believe in stopping in Dalton. And then if I do another line from Savannah, I think it should terminate in Jacksonville. So I'm probably not going to do that one either. So what we're going to probably do today is we're going to go from Savannah. We're going to connect this Macon to Columbus. We're going to also do Macon to Valdosta and probably Augusta to Savannah. So I think that's what we're going to do today. The next episode after that, we're going to build all the tram lines. We're going to need a tram line in Columbus. We're going to need one in Atlanta. We're going to need one in Augusta and Savannah, and we'll probably need one in Macon. Though Macon might get away with it. So we'll just have to see. But before we get too deep, I'm going to make sure I ask this question here, just in case we get to the end of the episode and I forget. So what state would you guys like to see me go into next? I can go multiple directions. I can go northeast into South Carolina. I'm not going to go this way into North Carolina, so we're going to go through South Carolina to get to North Carolina. I could go into Tennessee, which would mean having lines going from Memphis to like Knoxville, this whole region, Nashville, stuff like that. I can go into Alabama, which would give me connections to the Gulf Coast through Mobile. There's quite a few towns actually that would be great to hook up in Alabama. And then the other option is Florida. Now, Florida would be a huge, several parts to get done. I mean, we're talking connecting Pensacola to Tallahassee, to Jacksonville. We're also talking going through Gainesville, Ocala, Orlando, down the entire eastern coast, Tampa, Sarasota, Fort Myers, Naples, all that to get done. They would connect over. You're looking at probably a tram line in Miami, another one in Orlando, in Tampa and St. Petersburg, which is all right here. Jacksonville. I don't know if Tallahassee might get one. And then one maybe in Pensacola. I mean, you're looking at a huge line, and then future lines out of Alabama would connect in here too. So like this line here in Thomasville connects to Tallahassee, and that's probably where it's going to go. But like a line out of Dothan would come down, connect to the east-west line, and then also go into Panama City. And then here in Pensacola, it would come up through here and connect to the Mobile line going this way, but also probably connect up, through all this as well. So just throwing it out there, there's several ideas that we can do. You guys tell me Florida, Alabama, Tennessee, or South Carolina, and that's where we're going to go next. So just remember that. Now, we need to get started on our own stuff for today because that's very important. I think the very first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to go and do Savannah and get this Macon to Columbus. It's not very far, so we probably shouldn't even have to worry with timing on this one. I'm just going to go ahead and let's go ahead and speed up time just a little bit here. I like to let the trains run now because, I mean, we're not having a problem with money or anything. Let's go ahead and connect like that, and like that. So I've had some people ask me, where do you get where are you getting the existing railroads from? That's a mod. There's so many great mods for this game in the Steam Workshop. So if you're playing along and you're wondering like, well, where does he have this? Where does he have these special trains? Just go to the Steam Workshop. It's all there. It's pretty much all free. I don't think any of it's paid for. And there's some really great stuff to really help you out. If you're like me, where you want to utilize, some things that are real life or existing, I like to do, why reinvent the wheel? Let's get out this way. out towards Chautauqua, which is very weird to hear that area called that. We're actually getting out towards like a prison. Yeah, there's a prison like right here. So, and we're like in the technology park area of Columbus. So it's kind of cool seeing all that. Like when you know the area that you're working with, it just adds like a little extra to it. Now I use these railroad tracks that I'm building right here. They actually went by my childhood home. For many years, I just could hear this train go by all the time, and it was sufficiently far away, but I could definitely hear it. This is a Pratt Whitney engine facility. They build like fighter jet engines and large passenger plane engines and stuff. It's pretty cool. My dad used to work there long time ago, but well before he got went into blue collar work, or excuse me, white collar work. He was blue collar there, doing an electrician work. All right, let's keep it rolling. Now this part we're well outside, so let's keep things rolling out. So I just realized I did not put down a single station, did I? No, let's go do that. So stations, I would have loved to put one in Junction City or Geneva. It's just not going to happen. There's not going to ever be a rail line going this way for me. I don't see the point. So let's come out here. There's Butler. Will Butler get one? This is in Taylor County. Oh no, less than 3,000 people. Nope, we don't even waste your time. Don't waste your money. Reynolds looks about the same. Now, Fort Valley should get one. And Fort Valley, Perry, and then Warner Robins. Now, Warner Robins will get service on the Macon to Warner Robins. I'm going to make this go straight to Macon. That's where we're going to go with this guy. We're going to run this from here. Oh gosh, it's getting just a bit too long to make it work perfectly, but it's okay. We can probably curl that off. That's 10,000, 11,000 people, by the way. So worth doing. And then it's going to run up here to Macon. There's only going to be one stop along the line. I know that kind of sucks, but really it's just, there's nothing out this way. These are mostly like very rural, poor counties that don't have a lot in them. This section of Georgia just kind of got bypassed. You know, when the state is already, most of it is kind of bypassed. You think of Georgia and you're like, oh, that's a very populous state and there's a lot of industry and all that. And it's like, Atlanta, sure. There's some, in Columbus, and I mean, to a lot lesser degree in Columbus and Savannah and Augusta. But yeah, outside of that, there's not a whole lot. I mean, all the state's resources pretty much go to Atlanta. So it's sad because, there's some states like North Carolina where they have quite a few, 100,000 people, person cities and towns, and they're all growing and great places to live. And then in Georgia, it's like, once you get outside of Atlanta and a few of the other quote unquote cities, it's a lot, it's a lot different. We'll go ahead and fix that. And there we go. So yeah, I actually, I hate to knock on my own state. I love my state, but at the same time, I do recognize the issues coming from this area. All right. And a lot of this used to be like old, like agricultural land. Yeah, a lot of it still is agricultural land, but it's just poor. Agriculture, despite being so necessary, is not an industry that generally has a ton of people, that that has a lot of people in it, for one, and makes money these days. Okay. That's not to say that there's not some people making a lot of money. There definitely is. But these are like some of the plantation areas back in the day. And that's all gone now, of course, for the most part. Where are we at? Yeah, we're in Reynolds. I probably go this way about once a year on average. There's no real point to going here for going towards Macon for me. You know, I probably go towards Atlanta more. And then maybe towards Albany once every few years. But if there is a rail line, oh, I would do it probably more often. I can guarantee you that. Well, I know this points at like over this weird pond. We're not going to cross the pond. That does not make any sense to me. Not that I know this pond or anything. It doesn't make sense. Now we're doing all this through here because we're getting into some like wetlands. So back when they were building this rail line, originally, these wetlands were hard to deal with. We're getting into like the Flint River system over here. And it's almost like swampy in areas, kind of some bogs. All right. I'm pretty sure we're coming up on Fort Valley. Yep. All right. Now, to do this right... Okay, I can do here. I can come here. I can come... There we go. I don't like doing that hard of a turn, but I kind of had to here. I didn't really want to bring it up further because I would have missed more people at the south end of Fort Valley. Which Fort Valley is a very interesting town. Its rail is mostly like... They just have these big, like... They have like these bridges for cars going over all of the rail. Very weird because most towns don't do that. You wish that they would, you know, if you live in those towns, you're like, man, I wish I had a way to get around this rail because this train is holding me up forever. Well, they've done that in Fort Valley. There's very few places. Also, fun fact about Fort Valley, that's where they build school buses. Almost every school bus in the state of Georgia and pretty much the South is a Bluebird school bus, and they get built right there. Don't ask me why they're built there, of all places. I don't know, but yeah, we can. Long time ago, we got to go check out that facility where they were assembling the buses, and we ended up getting to see. I actually rode on one of the buses that I saw get built a few weeks after it was done. It was pretty cool. Anyways, taking this turn here, we're getting really close. Yeah, I've got to cross these super fun water features. Etchiconi, I've never heard of that. That's a new name. That's one good thing about this game. You'll learn something about what's out there. Etchiconi, never heard of it. But I guarantee you it's probably a really small place. How much further? Okay, we're right there. So Macon and Savannah, when it comes to rail, are very important cities. Because Savannah is, by, I think, if I'm correct, it's the largest, like one of the largest ports on the East Coast. Like a lot of freight rolls in there. I'm gonna keep this. Yeah, I'm gonna keep this going up this side. But a lot of freight goes through Savannah. And pretty much all the freight in the southeast kind of runs through Atlanta, and then they have to go through Macon to get there. So very important spots that we're actually working through here. Now, of course, we're not doing freight. We are building passenger rail here. Though freight would be a cheat code for sure. We're going to back this up just a little bit. Okay, actually we're going to back it up a little bit further because it needs to follow the black line a little bit better through here. It gets very, very particular. There it goes. There we go. Got through there. Perfect. Now we're going to crawl up through here. Take this right. Take this right. Then we're going to come in here. And boom. There you go. We've connected to Macon. Just like that. Very simple. Very easy. Since we're here, I'm going to go ahead and make my little jutting piece off here. I think it's going to come. Yeah, we're going to do it further down. I prefer to do like splits very close to the station. I think I'm going to do this one here though. So we're going to build it right there. So that's going to get our future southern route done. It's going to go down the east side of that and go through Warner Robins. All right, let's go ahead and build this. This is $97,596,260 for a 314 kilometer rail line. It's really not that far. All right, build it. And then let's go ahead and put in our signals because we're going to need them. That's right. We are going to need them, particularly right here. Hold there, and then you, sir, will hold here. We're going to put a block police up here. Let's come down here and put a block police. I'm just going to slide one in right there. It should be plenty of space. If it's not, you can always fix that. So don't feel like it's a major thing. Yeah, we said there's nothing in Butler. Yeah. And then here we go down here right near where our lines were earlier. Boop, boop. Put that right there. Give me a block police here. There you go. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. Great. So we've now got our railroad leading over. I'm going to rename Fort Valley because we need to do that. It's not clocks, etc. It's just Fort Valley. Okay. Now let's grab our Macon to Savannah line because we're going to update it. It started, mind you, in Macon. Now it's not going to start in Macon anymore. It's not. So we're going to go down here to Macon, or to Dublin, excuse me, and say, nope, you've got to return. Well, I thought I could do that. Why is that not? Let's see. There we go. Add stops to line there. You're going to go here. And then you're going to go to Fort Valley. And then you're going to come on over here to Columbus. You're going to run into the left side. And you're going to run back to Fort Valley. And Fort Valley will run you back to the original Macon stop. So, okay. That makes that train considerably longer. Or that line, excuse me. So that should grab that for us. Looking at some of these little pieces, these assets and stuff, you can kind of get a good idea about how much your total amount is and stuff like that. You can see on Thursday, which that's today. Let's look at the past day. Our Atlanta intercity station made the most. Let's look at our lines. The Atlanta to Athens to Augusta made 153. The Atlanta to Macon made 105. Atlanta Columbus to Albany made 63. And then Macon to Savannah made 51,282. And these things are making us money now. Let's look at one. Let's see. Refunded. No, it's not going to state that. Okay. No big deal. Let's go. Let's see. These things are getting done. Yeah, these. How many's on that line? Yeah, I do have 2 trains. I just don't know where they're at. One here. It may have restarted the line or something. There's 87 people on the train. All right, so while that's going, it's just going slow. It's not a big deal. We're going to make our next line, which will probably be Augusta to Savannah. I think I'll do that one next. We said that we were going to make our train a little bit differently. We were going to run up here, cut our own line over to Statesboro. And I'm going to come in. See this? This is perfect. Oh, look at that. It's not so great down here, but like I could probably run a line. Let's see. Maybe cross over here, run along the south side. Yeah, I don't want to run this far out. That's kind of a problem. But we're going to come put it at least like right in here, I think. I have no clue. Oh, that must be the university right here. So let's take a look. Yep, medium speed. Let's first look at putting our rail line to the, like, in this middle spot. This looks like such a great spot to try. Oh, is it even gonna fit here? Let's do this. We'll start from the bottom. That's 12,657. If I do it down here, 16,779. So the south is better. And I think, let me just try it here. Yeah, it's a little bit better this way. I'm going to build it probably right about here. $16,687. It gets more of the south. It also gets more of it. But it's Statesboro. We know that. I'm going to go ahead and rename this while I'm thinking about it. They want to name it Greenwood. I guess that's probably because it's a section of it. And then it's going to come back up to the north. We're going to skip Sylvania. We're going to go to Millen, and I think Millen is probably too small. It does not look very big. I don't know these towns out this way very well. Whoops, let's try it. Let's just try it. Yeah, 4,000 is just not really enough. There's Waynesboro, though. Now, Waynesboro should be big enough. Just barely. Oh, yeah, 7,267. And then we'll cut up and come this way into Augusta. So, all right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and do this one. I'm going to time lapse it so we can get a little bit more done in this episode. And then we'll be back. So let's get to it. All right, there we go. So we've now connected Augusta to Savannah. If you notice, I did include a stop in Springfield. For some reason, I just kept following this, like eventually I'll find a good spot to turn off, and it just never really came about until I got to Springfield. I'm like, you know, I guess I could have followed it up to here and then ran like a track down and then back, you know, let them come in and out. I didn't feel like doing that. It didn't feel right. So we ran it this way instead. And honestly, it's fine. So yeah, we ran that right there. We ran to Waynesboro. I'm going to go ahead and fix up Waynesboro to say Waynesboro. And then we'll go ahead down here to Springfield and we'll do the same. Effingham County. And then Statesboro is already Statesboro. So this is going to be $146,825,882. It's a 435 kilometer stretch. That's mainly because we kind of do a weird jink out here. And then you do all this weirdness up here too. So, yeah, anyways, I'm pretty happy with it. Not very mad. If I did anything different, I probably would have just came on up out of Waynesboro following this highway and then came out. But, you know, it is what it is. All right, build it. And there we go. Now, this is going to be a new line altogether. I'm thinking about it. Let's go ahead and do this. We need to fix up this line to say COLMACSAV. That's running Columbus to Macon to Savannah. I forgot to update it. All right, now, new line. It's going to be down here. And then we're going to need to create it. I'm going to run it from, let's run it from Augusta. Nothing wrong with that. Start here on the right side. Run it down to Waynesboro, again, sticking to the right side. We didn't put anything in Millen. We're going to go down to Statesboro. Then we got to come over here to Springfield. And then we're going to run into Savannah. We're going to put it on the right line here. Then we'll come here. And we'll just run it back. Now you could tell it to go into either station. It just, things get kind of wonky when that happens. I don't like to do it. So to each his own. If you want to try it, go for it. You know, play the game your way. I'm going to play it mine. All right, we're going to come up here in the upper right hand corner and make it this nice cyan color. Yeah, you can still see that. And then we're going to call this Georgia. And then it's going to be AUG2 SAV. This is going to be G5. Yes, it's the fifth rail line. It's going to cost them $10 to just get on the train. And it's going to cost them 10 cents to ride it from there. Let's go ahead and we're going to get 2 trains on this. I think we're going to be rolling out with 2 trains on every one for the next little while. Harubalu, there you go. Get 2 of these, $24 million on that. Go to our line and then just passenger service it up. Yeah, there's a train runs through every hour and 45. Ideally, the maximum I would make this is about an hour. In some cases, I've had to do 30 minutes just because it's so busy. Because you do end up getting situations like when you're running to Florida, you'll end up with situations where these trains, you know, they're only going to be able to they're going to try to use like one line. They're going to go from here down to here and down to here. And they're going to be like, well, that's the fastest route, instead of the guys, you know, these passengers going, well, this route's full, so why don't I take another route? It might be a little bit longer in train time, but I don't have to wait. You know, that's what we would do, right? If you were driving, you know, from one town to the next and you said, oh, well, there's a crash along the way that's causing a backup, you just alternate your route. They could do that here, they just don't. So because of that, it makes things a little bit harder. All right, so, but because, anyways, why I was saying that was just because they don't do that here. And that makes life a lot harder on us, because it now means we need to add more trains, or we need to find another way around. Now I can tell you this, I've had a couple questions. Why am I not doing high-speed rail? Well, first off, high-speed rail does not make sense early on in the game because you're just trying to connect towns. But high-speed rail does come into play when you're making it across long distances. So if I was going from, if I'm going Atlanta to Macon, I could go straight there. I could run my line as straight as I could to Macon. And that makes sense because Atlanta to Macon is, one stop there, one stop there. It goes super fast to get there. No need to stop along the way. It's almost like an express route. Columbus to Macon. Yeah, I don't want to stop in Fort Valley, so we're going to do like that. Macon to Savannah. Again, just express route. We're not connecting anywhere else. So what you do is you tell people, if you want to go from, say, I don't know, New Orleans to Atlanta, you'd run New Orleans to Mobile with the high-speed rail, to Montgomery with a high-speed rail, up to Atlanta with the high-speed rail. And the only places, once they got off, they don't need to ride Mobile to, Bruton and then to Montgomery and then to Auburn and then LaGrange. They don't need to do that. They just zip right on by those places. And then say they needed to go to, I don't know, Noonan from there, even though they went past it in the high-speed rail, they would then board the train and come back down to Noonan. So it gets them there quicker, and then it gets them closer to their line. So anyways, that's the way you kind of run it in this game. And that's kind of how it works in real life too, honestly. All right, so let's go ahead and get our final real rail line in Georgia done. We're going to run this Macon to Valdosta. So this is a very long rail line. It's honestly, it doesn't serve as much purpose this exact moment, but it will. And I want to take a quick look. Did I put yes, I did put these in place. And then up here, yeah, we don't have to even worry about it. Okay, I want to make sure I had my signals in place because I'd end up having issues. But yeah, so let's talk about where we're going to put our stations. Now we're going to put one in Warner Robins. This is the best place for it. There's just no doubt in my mind. I would rather have it here. Let's build ourselves a 300-meter platform. Almost, yeah, 11,500. It doesn't get much better. I could probably get a little bit more if I went south. Not even. Really, this is probably the best place for it. I could go a little bit further up and get more. But we're not going to get too, caught up on that. Normally, I'd like to hit Perry, because Perry is like the National Fairground. That's what's here. But I'm not going to worry with it. I'm just not. Cordele would be next. Cordele is a pretty good sized town. Where would you be? Now, I'd love to put it here. Whoops. I'd love to put it like right here. I'm not going to quite fit it. Wonder if I could go a little bit higher up, maybe. Yeah, I could fit it here. If you guys can excuse it going just barely over some roads there, that's where it's at. So Cordele, Ashburn, I don't know if I would put one here. At this point, it's like every little wide spot along the road. 5,000 in Ashburn. I think it's worth it just because of the distance that we're traveling. Then there's Tifton. Oh yeah, Tifton's definitely gonna get one. There we go. Put 300 right there. 12,776. Then there's Adele. Will Adele get one? Let's see. If you live in these places and you're like, put a rail station there. I'm doing the absolute best I can to give everybody rail, but understand sometimes it don't make sense. Adele does make sense. 6,000 people there. And then we're in Valdosta. So I think the best way to do Valdosta. Now Valdosta, I mean, it's very more situated to the north. You can see that than what the rail line is. And actually the main road is like, Valdosta just grew to the north. I think the thing to do is probably put it here. Let's see what happens. 17,000. Yeah. Could I have done better? Slightly. I probably could have came down a little. No, because I would have caught more of this area. I think we're fine. And I was wondering if I should go to east, you know, this way over here as well, but I don't think so. Valdosta is going to end up catching another rail line that's going to come across. So like this Waycross line will come into Valdosta and then it'll kind of go north into it, then it would come back out. That's really what I was looking for. All right. And Valdosta is the end of the line. Yeah. So, all right. At this point, I think it's time to go ahead and get to building. So I'm going to go ahead and do another time lapse here for the final time in this episode, and we'll get this line completed. All right. We'll be right back. All right, so there we go. We connected all the way down from Macon to Valdosta. Also connected to the towns of Warner Robins. We tried Unadilla. I kind of wondered if that was going to work, and it didn't. So I just thought I'd just share I did try. Cordele got it put in there. Ashburn is in there. Tipton's in there. Adele is in there. And Valdosta. Let's go ahead and just quickly fix up the names of these places, making it a lot easier on ourselves. Yep, there's Adele, Tifton, and Tift County. Very original down there, guys. Cordele. All right, and Warner Robins and Houston County. Okay, there it is. There's built all the way down. It's going to cost us $186,401,384. It's 481 kilometers of track. So let's go ahead and build it. And that's there and back. So it's not quite that far, if you get what I mean. Now we're going to fix this Atlanta to Macon line to get it to work. Instead of building a brand new line, I'd rather just have one long line. So let's come down here to where it says Macon. All right, and on this one right here, we would Wilson McDonough to Macon. Then we'll go Macon to Warner Robins, making sure we stay on the right side of the track. Then we go to Cordele, again, right side of the track. Cordele down to Ashburn. Ashburn to Tifton, and Tifton to Adele, and then from Adele to Valdosta. We're going to go on the right hand side of the track here, and then we're going to go back up the way we came to Adele, Tifton, Ashburn, Cordele, Warner Robins, and then it falls right into Macon right after that, back up to Atlanta. So there goes that route. That train's gonna get redone. Let's take a quick little look here at our trains. Okay, I think it's time we get a little better idea of our accounting just here at the end of the episode. Obviously, I've spent a ton of money today in the game. We have 4 more hours until we see differently. Compensations and refunds are kind of etching up there. Is there any train that's like, it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Let's take a look at our trains, and probably be best to see this. Assets, trains, and then see, let's see, contains, total packs. So I have several trains. The Maharu Bahulu 2, the 5, the 7, and the 1 are all really full. Now the 2 is on, yeah, so the 2 is on this line, the Atlanta to Athens to Augusta. The 5 is on the Columbus line, okay. The 7 is on the okay, so the Columbus to Macon line, and then the 1 is okay. So let's do something here. We're gonna buy some more trains. It's just that time. We're gonna purchase for each line. Okay, we're gonna try to get this closer to 1 hour. I think 2 new trains will be okay. So let's add 2 here. Check out our line. It's now 1 hour and 12. Yeah, 2 is going to be fine here as well. I don't want to like overload the lines. This one's going to definitely end up needing it. So I'm just going to go ahead and be nice about it and get it done early. While we're here, Atlanta to Macon to Valdosta. Augusta to Savannah. You guys are at 1 hour and 45. You're not really seeing it that bad, but you haven't been running that long. I'm going to add 1 train to you. That gets you to 1 hour and 10. So eventually that line might do something else. Maybe connecting in up here to like Anderson or Greenwood, because there probably will be a line going this way. It's hard to tell what I might do through here yet. So, and then Columbus, yeah, we're going to Savannah line, we're going to add 2 there as well, bringing us to 1 hour 40. So we're adding some more some more trains. A lot of you saw some of them kind of go offline here because they're just trying to figure out, you know, where they're going to end up laying out their positions. So they get nice and spread out evenly so they don't run into one another. They're exactly 1 hour and 10 minutes apart, you know, running through places. Eventually, like I said, I'll get it down to 1 hour. And then I'll say, okay, well, we might need to go down to 45, and then we'll get down to 30. You know, you get what I'm saying. Eventually, we'll probably end up with like trains running every 30, 45 minutes on the most busiest of lines. And even then, I might end up having to delete some of those trains because high-speed rail comes in and it's like, well, why are you, if you're going from Atlanta to Valdosta, why are you going to take the commuter route? You just take the faster high-speed rail, right? So yeah. Anyways, I think we're looking pretty good though. I mean, we've used up over half of our money now effectively, and we built the Georgia route. All of our routes in Georgia are pretty much built. Let me go ahead and put my stuff on. See, I mean, the only thing that's kind of missing is this northwest jump to Chattanooga. There'll be a western jump to Birmingham eventually. You could say there's a jump to the northeast missing to Charlotte, which you wouldn't be wrong. There's just no big town to anchor here without going into South Carolina, which I don't want to do. And then, yeah, I mean, there's this route here, which I want to anchor that in Dothan or something. So, I don't think Bainbridge to Cairo to Thomasville to Quitman or Valdosta, Homerville, Waycross, and then over to like Brunswick is really that important, or Jessup. There's also the Savannah to Jacksonville route. That's kind of missing too, which I might end up taking this train and running it south to do that, by the way. So anyways, I think we're doing pretty well. I'm a fan of this. I like this. It's definitely doing exactly what I want it to do. So, all right, guys, I think we're gonna end it here. I mean, next time we come back, we'll be doing the trams in Columbus, Atlanta, Savannah, and Augusta for sure. Maybe Macon. I don't think Valdosta really needs it, nor do I think Albany really needs it. Macon is kind of like one of those, it could get away without it. There's not as many people living wide out here. You know, it's got 12,000 people at that station. It's fine. So I think we'll do that. And then we'll move on to the next state. So don't forget to also vote down below with your comments and tell me which state we go to: Florida, Alabama, Tennessee, or South Carolina. So, all right, guys, I will be sure to check out the links below. Subscribe if you haven't already, like the video, and I will see you all next time.